The Arctic region, once a desolate and inaccessible frontier, has emerged as a new geopolitical battleground. Russia, with its vast Arctic coastline, is at the forefront of this competition. Driven by a potent mix of economic interests, strategic considerations, and national pride, Russia has embarked on an ambitious campaign to assert its dominance over the Arctic. Moscow's strategy is multifaceted, encompassing military buildup, economic development, and diplomatic maneuvering. Russia's claim to the Arctic is not new. It dates back to the Soviet era, but recent years have witnessed a marked intensification of its activities. This renewed focus is driven in part by the changing geopolitical landscape, particularly the escalating rivalry between Russia and the West. The Arctic, with its abundance of untapped resources and strategically important shipping routes, represents a key theater in this unfolding drama. Russia's Arctic ambitions, if realized, could have profound implications for the global balance of power in the 21st century. Russia's Arctic ambitions are not merely about territorial expansion, they represent a calculated move to secure access to vast reserves of oil and gas, potentially reshaping global energy markets. Moreover, the melting Arctic ice cap is opening up new shipping lanes, promising to revolutionize global trade. Russia aims to control these vital arteries, leveraging its geographic advantage to become a major player in the emerging Arctic economy. One of the most striking aspects of Russia's Arctic strategy is its rapid militarization of the region. Recognizing the strategic importance of the Arctic, Moscow has embarked on a comprehensive program to enhance its military capabilities in the high north. This buildup encompasses a wide range of assets including icebreakers, submarines, and advanced missile systems. Russia's Northern Fleet, headquartered in Severomorsk, has undergone a significant modernization program, receiving new warships, submarines, and aircraft. This includes the deployment of advanced hypersonic missiles, capable of evading existing missile defense systems. These deployments send a clear message about Russia's determination to defend its interests in the Arctic, even if it means resorting to military force. Beyond modernizing its existing bases, Russia has also established new military outposts on remote Arctic islands, effectively extending its reach into the region. These bases serve as logistical hubs for military operations and provide early warning capabilities, allowing Russia to monitor activity in the Arctic. These moves have raised concerns among NATO members, who see them as evidence of Russia's increasingly assertive posture in the region. While Russia is undoubtedly the dominant player in the Arctic, it is not alone in recognizing the region's growing importance. China, despite lacking a direct Arctic coastline, has shown a keen interest in the region, branding itself as a near-Arctic state. This has led to a burgeoning strategic partnership between Moscow and Beijing in the Arctic, driven by shared economic interests and a common desire to challenge Western influence. China's Arctic ambitions are primarily economic in nature. Beijing sees the Arctic as a potential source of energy and mineral resources, vital for sustaining its economic growth. Moreover, the opening of new shipping routes through the Arctic could significantly reduce transit times for Chinese goods shipped to Europe, offering a strategic alternative to the longer and more vulnerable routes through the Suez and Panama canals. This convergence of interests has led to a flurry of joint ventures between Chinese and Russian companies, particularly in the energy and infrastructure sectors. Notably, China has invested heavily in Russia's Yamal LNG project, a massive natural gas project located in the Russian Arctic. This partnership extends beyond economic cooperation, encompassing joint scientific expeditions and military exercises in the Arctic. The deepening Sino-Russian partnership in the Arctic has raised concerns among Western policymakers, who see it as a challenge to the existing rules-based order in the region. Paradoxically, the existential threat of climate change has emerged as a key driver of Russia's Arctic ambitions. The Arctic region is warming at twice the rate of the global average, causing the ice cap to melt at an alarming pace. While this trend poses significant environmental challenges, it also presents Russia with a unique set of opportunities. The melting ice cap is opening up new shipping lanes, such as the Northern Sea Route, which significantly reduces transit times between Asia and Europe. Russia aims to capitalize on this development, positioning itself as a key transit hub for global trade. This ambition is reflected in Russia's investments in infrastructure along the Northern Sea Route, including new ports, icebreakers, and navigation systems. Furthermore, the retreating ice is making vast reserves of oil, gas, and minerals accessible for exploitation. Russia, with its extensive Arctic coastline, is well positioned to benefit from this development. Already, Russian companies are actively exploring for and extracting resources in the Arctic, contributing significantly to the country's economy. The Kremlin sees the Arctic as a key source of revenue for decades to come, vital for sustaining Russia's economic and military might. Russia's Arctic strategy extends beyond military and economic measures, encompassing a legal dimension aimed at solidifying its control over the region. Moscow has adopted a series of laws and regulations that assert its jurisdiction over vast swaths of the Arctic, often exceeding internationally recognized norms. One example is Russia's claim to the Lomonosov Ridge, an underwater mountain range that extends across the Arctic Ocean. Moscow argues that this ridge is an extension of its continental shelf, granting it rights to the resources on and beneath the seabed. This claim, however, is disputed by other Arctic nations, including Canada and Denmark. Furthermore, Russia has implemented stringent regulations governing navigation through the Northern Sea Route, requiring foreign vessels to obtain permission and pay fees to transit the passage. These regulations have been criticized by other countries, who see them as an attempt by Russia to restrict freedom of navigation in the Arctic. Russia's legal maneuvers in the Arctic reflect its determination to assert its sovereignty and control over the region, even if it means provoking tensions with other nations. Underlying Russia's assertive posture in the Arctic are significant economic incentives. The region is estimated to hold vast reserves of oil, gas, minerals, and fish stocks, representing a potential treasure trove for the Russian economy. As climate change accelerates the melting of the Arctic ice cap, access to these resources becomes increasingly feasible, further fueling Russia's ambitions. The development of the Northern Sea Route as a viable shipping lane presents further economic opportunities for Russia. This route offers a significantly shorter transit time between Asia and Europe compared to traditional shipping routes, potentially revolutionizing global trade patterns. Russia aims to capitalize on this development, positioning itself as a key transit hub and reaping the economic benefits. However, realizing these economic opportunities requires significant investment in infrastructure, including icebreakers, ports, and navigation systems. Russia, despite its economic challenges, has demonstrated a willingness to allocate significant resources to Arctic development, recognizing the long-term strategic importance of the region. The economic stakes involved in the Arctic are high, and Russia appears determined to secure its share of the potential riches. Russia's assertive actions in the Arctic have not gone unnoticed by the international community. Western nations, particularly those with Arctic interests of their own, have expressed growing concern over Russia's militarization of the region and its disregard for international norms. This has led to a concerted effort to counter Russian influence and safeguard Western interests in the Arctic. The United States, despite its geographically distant location, has stepped up its engagement in the Arctic, recognizing the region's growing strategic importance. This includes increasing military deployments to the region, investing in icebreakers, and strengthening partnerships with other Arctic nations. NATO has also increased its presence in the Arctic, conducting military exercises and enhancing surveillance capabilities. Beyond military measures, Western nations are also cooperating on diplomatic and economic fronts to counter Russian influence. This includes imposing sanctions on Russia for its actions in Ukraine, which have indirectly impacted its Arctic ambitions. Furthermore, Western countries are promoting sustainable development in the Arctic, emphasizing environmental protection and indigenous rights, in contrast to Russia's more extractive approach. The escalating competition for resources and influence in the Arctic raises concerns about the potential for conflict in the region. While a full-blown military confrontation remains unlikely, the risk of miscalculation or unintended escalation cannot be ignored. The Arctic's harsh environment, vast distances, and limited communication infrastructure increase the risk of accidents or misunderstandings that could spiral out of control. Moreover, the presence of significant military assets in close proximity, coupled with the lack of clear boundaries and established codes of conduct, creates a volatile security environment. The potential for accidents or close encounters between Russian and NATO forces is a real concern, particularly given the heightened tensions between Russia and the West. To mitigate the risk of conflict, it is essential to establish effective channels of communication and build trust between Arctic nations. This includes promoting dialogue, transparency, and confidence-building measures. Furthermore, strengthening international legal frameworks governing activities in the Arctic, such as the United Nations Convention on the Law of the Sea, is crucial for preventing disputes and managing competition peacefully. The Arctic is undergoing a period of rapid transformation, driven by climate change, geopolitical competition, and technological advancements. Russia, with its vast Arctic coastline and ambitious agenda, is poised to play a leading role in shaping the future of the region. However, Moscow's assertive actions have raised concerns among other Arctic nations, leading to increased tensions and the risk of conflict. The future of the Arctic hinges on the ability of Arctic nations to manage their differences peacefully and cooperate on issues of common interest. This requires a commitment to dialogue, transparency, and a rules-based order. The alternative, a militarized and conflict-prone Arctic, would be detrimental to all involved, jeopardizing the fragile environment and hindering the region's vast economic potential. The international community must work together to ensure that the Arctic remains a zone of peace, cooperation, and sustainable development for generations to come.